Amikum class welcome. I hope you all will be safe and sound and healthy. Okay, bete, we will discuss today chapter number 3, the periodic table, the long questions of chapter number 3. Yesterday we have discussed complete chapter number 4, Magnus and Electromagnus. Inshallah, I will discuss the exercise with you. But before starting chapter number 4 exercise, first of all, we will discuss the long questions of chapter number 3. So look at your book, take out page number 33 in your book. Take out page number 33 in your book. Okay, the first long question you have to write here. Okay, this is written here. Describe the history of evolution of an atom. Write this long question on page number 33 in your book. Please write this question in your book. Describe the history of evolution of an atom. This is first long question of chapter number 3. Describe the history of evolution of an atom. Please write the question. Now I will discuss uh, um, the answer of this question. I hope you have written. Okay, your answer will start from here. Okay, you can see scientists have. Okay, it will start from a scientists have taken over 100 years to produce this atomic table. Okay, you can also see on your page. uh, Look at the screen. Okay, Betty. So you can see your answer will start from here. Okay, scientists had taken over 100 years to produce this atomic model. Okay, and work is still going. We are some of the scientists who have made important discoveries about the atom. Okay, so the first is that your John Dalton. Okay, the first heading is given. You will write this paragraph, then you will give the heading of John Dalton. Okay, and you will write here from this point. Dalton found out the water through evaporate into the air if water and air were made of water that cloud mixed together. Okay, this is the theory of John Dalton. You have to write from only these three lines. It will start from Dalton found out that water till could mix together. Okay, you have to write in your copy. Now come to the next scientist. It is given Joseph John Thomson. Okay, you will give the heading of Joseph John Thomson, and then you will write a using a cathode ray tube. Thomson discovered the existence of a subatomic particle, electron. Okay, and then you will make the diagram of the Thomson's atomic model. You will give the heading of Joseph John Thomson. Okay, and then you will start from here. Using a cathode ray tube, Thomson discovered the existence of a subatomic particle, and that is electron. Now come to another scientist, which is given. Okay, next heading will be Ernest Rutherford. Okay, you will also write the date 1871 to 1937. Now your answer will start from here. In 1911, Rutherford fired a beam of electrons of particles against thin foil, expecting them all to pass straight through the particles. Some particles were repelled. Okay, your answer will start from here till repelled, and then come to the last paragraph, which is given on the page. Then you will write here Rutherford's atomic model therefore had a tiny positively charged nucleus with electrons whizzing about in the space above around it. Okay, so under the heading of Ernst Rutherford, you will write from in 1911 Rutherford. It will start from here till particles were repelled. Okay, after that you will come here, you will write here Rutherford's atomic model therefore had a tiny positively charged. Okay, you will write this thing. Okay, and till space around it. Now come to the next page. Come to the next page. आगे चलो। Now, better come to the next bit. It is given Niels Bohr. We are doing the question number 1. Okay, so the last one is Niels Bohr, and you will write here 1885 to 1962, and then you will write here Bohr and Rutherford developed the atomic model further by suggestions that electrons orbit the nucleus at high speed in fixed orbits. Okay, around the nucleus. The Rutherford atomic model helped us to explain the periodic table. Okay, I hope you understand it. The answer of question number 1, long question number 1. I have told you the first long question is about describe the history of evolution of an atom, in which we have discussed the 5 scientists. First, we have discussed about the John Dalton. Second, we have discussed the J.J. Thomson. Third, we have discussed the Ernst Rutherford. And next, we have discussed about the Niels Bohr. This is the answer of your long question number 1. Okay, come to next page. Now we will discuss the long question number 2, which is given on page number 36. Now take out your page number 36, all of you. Yes, you can also see page number 36. This is given, this is a page number 36. Sorry, but this is a page number 40. This is page number 40 and this is your long question number 3. Okay, so first we will discuss the question, long question number 3. You have to write the question in your book. What is a compound? Explain the different types of compounds. Okay, what is a compound? Explain the different types of compounds. Okay, so first of all, you will write the definition of compound. You can see on the screen. Elements combine during chemical reactions to fill up the outer shell of their atoms. An atom is more stable when its outer shell is completely full. When two or more molecules are completely combined, so they make a compound. Okay, so your definition of compound is, you can see on the screen. First, you will write the definition of compound. Then you will write here there are two different types of compounds. You can also see on the screen I have written there are two different types of compounds. First one is called ionic compound and second is called covalent compound. So then you will give the heading of ionic compound. You can also see on the screen ionic compound. So its answer will start from here. When an atom loses an electron to another atom, okay, it changes. So the loss of one electron leaves the atom with all its protons but minus one electron. This makes an atom with a positive charge, positive ion, and positive charge ions are called cations. An atom that gains an electron becomes a negative ion that is called anions. Okay, with a strong negative charge. Then you will give the example which is given in your book. You can see sodium and chlorine, and you can also you have to make the structure of sodium and chlorine. You can see sodium has atomic number 11. So when you commute the electrons in the shells, in first shell there should be 2 electrons, in second shell there should be 8 electrons, and in the last shell there should be 1 electron. And on the other side, if you see the structure of a chlorine, its atomic number is 17. So you can see in first shell there are 2 electrons, in second shell there are 8 electrons, and in the third shell there are 7 electrons. So definitely what will be happen, definitely sodium will lose its electron, so it will get the positive charge, and chlorine will get the 1 electron, so it will get the negative charge. So due to positive and negative ions, it will convert into sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is a common salt. Okay, so you can see you have to give only example of sodium and chlorine. with the heading of ionic compound. And there is other examples are given, magnesium and oxygen. You will not write these example in your copy. Now come to the next page, page number 42. Page number 42. Yes, Pete, come to page number 42. Yes, this is a covalent compound. You can also see on the screen, take covalent compound. Okay, bete, look at your book, page number 42, covalent compound. Okay, still I am telling you about the long answer of long question number 2, covalent compound given on page number 42. Another way that an atom can complete the outer shell is to share electrons with one atom. This sharing of electrons is called a covalent bond. Then you will give the example of chlorine. Two examples are given in your book. First example is about water molecule and the second one is chlorine. So just you have to give the example of chlorine and you also have to draw the diagram. Okay, so your long question number 3 answer should be ended on page number 42 with the example of chlorine. You can also see the diagram in your book that is about bonding of chlorine molecules. Okay, now I will discuss with you the question, long question number 2. The periodic table, you can also see on the screen. The periodic table, this is very important long question. You have to write the question in your book, write different properties of periodic table. Okay, this is your long question number 2. It is given on page number, it is given on page number 36. Okay, so you will start first, write the question, then I will tell you how many properties have you have to write in your copy. Right, question is that write different properties of periodic table. Okay, so it will start from here. There are over 100 different elements, each other different properties. There are over 100 different elements, each other different properties. So what are these properties? So you can see number one property is that I have marked in the screen. The periodic table displays all the elements in the order of their atomic numbers. So first you will write the property, underline in your book. The periodic table displays all the elements in the order of their atomic numbers. Then you will write the number 2, the periodic table. The periodic table has several rows called periods. Underline in your book, the table has several rows called periods. The table has several rows called periods. This is number 2 property. Then come to number 3. Elements with similar properties are arranged in vertical columns called groups. Underline in your book, third property, elements with similar properties are arranged in vertical columns called groups. Now come to number 4. The zigzag line at the right hand side of the periodic table divides some metals and non-metals. Fourth property is that the zigzag line at the right hand side, the periodic table divides the metals and non-metals. Bete, I have told you four properties on page number 36. Mark in your book. Number 1 is the periodic table displays all the elements in the order of their atomic number. This is number 1. Number 2, the table has several rows called periods. Okay, then number 3, elements with similar properties are arranged in vertical columns called groups. Number 4 is that number 4 is that number 4 is that Okay, wait. Number 4 is that the zigzag line at the right hand side, the periodic table divides the metals and non-metals. Okay, wait. Now come to the next page. Better take off page number 38 in your book. 38 in your book. Yes. Now you can see, I will tell you number 5 property. Okay, beta, you can see number 5 property which is given in your book. Okay. So number 5, and notice that hydrogen, okay, is outside the main table. It does not fit any particular group. This is number 5. Notice that hydrogen is not fixed in any particular group. Okay. You can see, notice that hydrogen is outside the main table. It does not fit in any particular group. This is number 5. Now come to number 6 property. Underline in your book, an electron shell is full when it has 8 electrons in it. This is number 6 property. Okay. Then mark number 7 property. Elements in group 8 has 8 electrons in its outer electron shell. Every element in group 1 has 1 electron in the outer shell, and so on. This is number 7 property. Then come to number 8. The number of electrons in the outer shell of its atoms has a big effect on the way an element reacts. That is why elements in the same group of the periodic table tend to react in the same way as each other. This is number 8 property. Now come to number 9. A full outer shell of 8 electrons is a very stable arrangement. Elements with full outer shells are very unreactive because the electrons tend to stay where they are. This is number 9 property. Now come to number 10. The elements in group 1 are sometimes called the alkali metals. Now come to number 11. Group 7 of the periodic table contains the halogens. Okay, and there is another property. This is the last property. The most famous group in the periodic table is group 8, group 0. The noble gases, they are famous because they do not react. This is because their outer electron shells are completely full. So you can see I have told you 12 properties. Okay, 4 I have told you on the previous page, and 8 properties I have told you on this page. This is number 5. It will this whole line comprises the property number 5. Okay, then this is number 6. Underline in your book. Electron shell is full when it has 8 electrons in it. Then come to number 7. It is number 7. Elements in group 8 has 8 electrons. I am repeating. Now number 8. The number of electrons in the outer shell of its atom has a big effect on the way an element reacts. That is why elements in the same group of the periodic table tend to react in the same way as each other. Okay, then come to number 9. A full outer shell, 8 electrons, is a very stable arrangement. It will start from here till where they are. Then number 10, the elements in group 1 are sometimes called the alkali metals. Then come to number 11. You can also see group 7 of the periodic table contains the halogens. And then number 12, the most famous group in the periodic table is group 8, group 0. The noble gases, they are famous because they do not react. This is because their outer electron shells are completely full. Okay. So these are the three long questions which I have told you in the class, and you have to write these three long questions in your copies. This is your today's homework. Okay. Question number 1, I am repeating the question again. Question number 1 is that question number 1 answer is given on page number 33. Okay, and question is there, describe the history of evolution of an atom. Long question number 2, it is given on page number 36, the periodic table. Question is that write different properties of periodic table. Okay, and this answer is on page number 36 and 37. Now come to next question, third long question. It is given on page number 40. The topic is given combining elements to make compounds, and question is that what is a compound? Explain the different types of compounds. So when you attempt the third long question, Betty, you have to also draw the diagrams along with the question, because you have to tell about the two different types of compound, ionic compound and covalent compound. So in ionic compound, you will write the example of sodium and chlorine, and in covalent compound, you will give the example of only chlorine. Okay. I hope you understand all these long questions. Now, beta, we will go to next exercise of chapter number 4, magnets and electromagnets. We'll go to chapter number 4, exercise of chapter number 4. Yes. Now, this is your exercise. Now, beta, you will see the exercise of chapter number 4. Come to your exercise. It is given on page number. This is given on page number 57. Page number 57. First of all, we will do the multiple choice questions. Okay, bete, look at your book, page number 57. Take out page number 57. This is exercise of chapter number 4, magnets and electromagnets. Okay, so first of all, we will do the where on a magnet is the magnetic field strongest. So the options are given. You can also see the options at both north and south poles. Second is only at north pole. Third one is only at the south pole, and the D option is only in the middle. So keep in your mind, if you keep in your mind the theory of magnets and electromagnets, we all of know when a magnet has a magnetic field strongest. So at that time it has completely force on both poles, north and south poles. So the correct option of question number 1 is option A. The answer is that at both north and south pole. This is your correct answer. Now mark in your book Now come to question number 2. Also write the date on your exercise. Today is 25th August. Okay, so you have to write date on your exercise. Now question number 2. What will a suspended bar magnet do? What will a suspended bar magnet do? So the options are given. Spin round and round. No. Second option is point east west. No. Option C, point north and south. Yes. Point vertically downwards. We all of know and we also discuss in the chapter that when a bar magnet is suspended, so it holds two poles. And we also discuss this thing in a magnetic field when we arrange a magnetic field. So what is happen over there when we put iron fillings around the bar magnet, they all will be arranged into north seeking pole and the south seeking pole. So all magnets have two poles, north and south. East and west is not included. So the first option, spin round and round, this is wrong. Point east west, this is wrong. Point vertically downward, this is wrong. So the correct answer is that the correct answer is our option C, point north south. Point north south, this is the correct answer. Now we will come to question number 3. What happens if the north poles of two bar magnets are brought close together? What happens if the north poles of two bar magnets? So keep in your mind, we are bringing together two north poles. It means they both are the same poles. So what will be happen with them? So option A is that the magnets move together. No. The magnets move away from each other. Yes, this is true because they go. There are two bar magnets, and we are bringing together same poles near to each other. Definitely, they will repel. They will not attract to each other. So what will be happen at that time? The magnets. So what will be happen at that time? The magnets move away from each other. The magnets move away from each other. So question number 3, option B is the correct answer. The magnets move away from each other. The magnets stop being magnetic. And fourth option, nothing happens. Okay. I hope you understand it. Now come to question number 4. Come to question number 4. Come to question number 4. You can see what happen if the north pole of one bar magnet is brought close to the south pole of another bar magnet. Definitely, these are two opposite poles. What happens if the north pole of one bar magnet is brought close to the south pole of another bar magnet? So what will be happen? If you keep in your mind the theory of this chapter, you can understand definitely they will attract to each other. So what will be happen? The magnets move together. The magnets move together means the force of attraction will be produced between these two magnets. So the magnets move away from each other. Wrong answer. The magnets stop being magnetic. Wrong answer. Nothing happens. Wrong. So for question number 4, the correct option is that option A. The magnets move together. Why they move together? Because one bar magnet has north pole and the other magnet has a south pole. So when we bring two opposite poles near together, what will be happen? They will move together. They will attract to each other. Now come to question number 5. An iron bar can be magnetized by. An iron bar can be magnetized by. Option is there, hitting it with a permanent magnet. Okay. Putting it alongside a permanent magnet. Okay. Putting it on the end of a permanent magnet. Okay. Stroking it with a permanent magnet. Yes, this is the correct answer. Option D is the correct answer. Stroking it with a permanent magnet. Okay. So the correct option is that, and we also discussed the method in our chapter, that when we stroke a magnet with a permanent magnet, so because of that, what is happened, an iron bar can be magnetized. So option A is not the right answer, B is not the right answer, C is not the right answer. Option D is the right answer, stroking it with a permanent magnet. So mark in your book. I hope you understand the answers. Okay. Now we will go to true and false. Okay. Now we will discuss the true and false. So question number one. So question number one, we can see any metal alloy that contains iron will make a good permanent magnet. Any metal alloy. I have told you the term alloy. Alloy is made by when two or more different elements are combined, they give us another compound. Okay, so any metal alloy, if we make a alloy of any metal and among them there is a one substance is iron, will make a good permanent magnet. This is true. Right here, this is true. Why this is true? Because we all of know that iron and steel has an ability to convert into a magnet. Iron is called a soft magnetic material and steel is called a hard magnetic material. So once they are converted into a magnet, they hold the properties of magnetism inside them for a long time. So any metal alloy that contains iron will make a good permanent magnet. This is true answer. Now question number two, a compass held near to a wire carrying an electric current will always point north. This is false. We have discussed in a magnetic field when we put electric wire near to a compass. So due to the electricity and due to the compass, it will convert into circles, and all circles have are will be concentric. Concentric means that all circles have same center points. Okay, so a compass held near to a wire carrying an electric current will always point north. This is the wrong answer. So this is false. Number two is false. Now number three, the strength of the magnetic field in a solenoid can be increased by increasing the current, making more loops in the coil and putting a rod of steel inside the coil to stop it collapsing. This is true. We also have discussed this from in the chapter that when we want to make a permanent electromagnet, so we use the we will use the steel bar. Okay, and when we around electric and when we around the electric current inside it, when we pass electric current through it, making more and more loose. As we increase more and more loose, as its magnetism will be increased. So this is the right answer. So this is true. Question number three is true. Now come to question number four. Electromagnets can be used in many devices such as loudspeakers and electric motors. These two things also we have seen on the first page of this chapter, that in loudspeakers and electric motors we use the electromagnets. So this is also the right answer. Now come to question number five. The recording material on a hard disk is magnetic. This thing we have discussed on our last page of this chapter, and this is true. The recording material on a hard disk is magnetic. This is true. Okay, so you can see on page number 57, exercise of chapter number 4, the in true and false. So number 1 is true, number 2 is false, number 3 is true, number 4 is true, and number 5 is true. So among these all true and false, only number 2 statement is false, and number 1, 3, 4 and 5, these all are true. I hope you understand the today's lecture. I have discussed the long questions of chapter number 3 with you. Okay, so you have to write these 3 long questions in your copies today, and I have discussed the exercise today. Now we will start on the rest of questions. Question number 3 till 8 we will discuss in our next lecture, and then you will also do all these answers in your copy. Now in class 7 you have to write all the answers of your exercise in your copy. But today is your homework about your three long questions of chapter number 3, which you have to do in your registers. And I hope you underlined all these MCQs and true false uh, uh, in your book. Now your lecture has been ended. Thank you so much. वो तो हो गई है, लेकिन वो बच्चे हाथ खड़ा कर रहे थे, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही थी मैं कहाँ से उनको ऑन करूँ। ये दो बच्चों के लिए और